Hey, it's BioThoughts. Now, I just want to talk about this whole swine flu epidemic. I know the World Health Organization is calling it an epidemic. I know several other organizations are calling it an epidemic, and it's bullshit. I mean, what epidemic has the same symptoms as the flu? It's the same symptoms and the same outcome as the flu. I mean, it's not like this is it's an extremely more radical version of the flu. It's just a different version of the flu, whereas the shots, the booster shots, or I don't know exactly what they're called, but those shots don't quite work at preventing you catching this type of the flu, the swine flu, as they call it. And if you don't want to look at it from that logical sense, you can just look at it from cold, hard facts, which is always good. I always like the cold, hard facts. So you can just look at 160 dead so far. That's about 160 dead in the world so far from this pandemic, from this massive fear-mongering campaign, thanks to Fox News, CNN, the whole bracket. Now, 160 dead, that's bad. Like, if it was in your town, you'd be pissed off. You'd be sad, and you'd wonder why the hell 160 people only in your town died. I know I would. But when you compare it to the 34,000 people that die in the United States alone from influenza. Now this is old people, little kids, people with weakened immune systems, and that sort of thing. When you compare it to that situation, you can really see swine flu for the bitch-ass pandemic that it is. I mean, it may be contagious, but so is the flu, and we're not going to call that a pandemic every year. I mean, that would give us a shitload of pandemics, right? Now, we haven't even had any Americans dead from the swine flu. Now, I'm not an elitist fuck that thinks, oh, if it doesn't happen in my country, it doesn't even apply to me. No, I do give a flying fuck about other countries. All I'm trying to say here is, though, the deaths have, as far as I know, just been out of the country in more condensed places. Or less sanitary places like Mexico. I know several people have died over there. Down there from the swine flu, and I don't want to once again sound elitist about putting America to Mexico, but come on, I mean, as far as I know, we have better hospitals, better equipment, better medicine, and more sanitary standards when it comes to our practicing doctors and nurses. So we haven't had any Americans dead, so it's kind of been, so far at least, proven that this bitch-ass pandemic, if you can even really want to call it that, is not much more threat than the flu. Even on the TV news, where they've been propagating how dangerous and crazy this entire thing is, and how you're going to need to wear those painter's masks over your face, and it's because it's so contagious, and it's a pandemic, says the World Health Organization. I don't know who the fuck they are exactly. I mean, I understand the world, their health invoking, and they're organized, quite organized. Apparently, if they can, get off by saying, the flu is a fucking pandemic, and no one calls their bullshit, at least not on the news. Take some dumb fuck named BioThoughts on YouTube to call them on their bullshit, and several others. I think like Fake Sagan's done it or something. But I mean, the only person that's died in America from the swine flu so far was this Mexican boy, and he already had it. He was already pretty bad off when he came to America looking for help, which is probably the last place you'd want to go looking for help if you were what I imagine to be an illegal Mexican. I mean, I don't know exactly what the policy is for treating illegal Mexicans federally, but in Texas, I imagine that's where he ended up. It's probably not that tolerant. But the entire point is, you figure 34,000 people a year die in the U.S. of influenza. This so-called pandemic swine flu, which is just an odd combination of human influenza, bird flu, and some bacteria from pigs. It's it's a complicated thing. I'll probably post a link that way, I think. That way, whatever. I'll probably post a link in the description box, more detailed about exactly what this is. But it's very much like the flu. And when you compare the 160 dead so far to the 34,000 that have died every year, I mean on average every year from regular influenza, you begin to see that this is the bitch-ass pandemic that it appears to be. I mean, if you don't follow the news, CNN and Fox News, which I usually don't, I just happen to see some clips and I see how they're portraying this, and it's all these people with masks, in Mexico or more densely populated areas, the more densely populated areas of Mexico, or New York City. I think I've seen people passing out those painter's masks, and it's kind of ridiculous. Because they're portraying this like the pandemic that it isn't. They're portraying it like the pandemic that it wishes it could be. They're trying to make this swine flu, make AIDS look like the common cold. If you begin to look at the number of clips, like I was just checking out some news websites, and it's just like a story about swine flu, kid brings a gun to school, story about swine flu, some octomom had another 9 kids or something, another story about swine flu. It's just boom, boom, boom. They're loading your ass up with this stuff, and they're not going to let up on it because they want it to look like the pandemic that it is. I mean, it's always better to be safe than sorry. It's always better to have the amount of medicine, but why couldn't the media just say, and the government just prepare for the possibility of this, among several other things, by loading up on a shitload of medicine, which I imagine they are. But why couldn't the media just add on to that by showing them stacking up the medicine? I'm not saying Americans need to be lied to. If you're a president, they do, but I'm not saying that we need to be bullshitted. What I'm saying is that it kind of helps to have two sides to the story, especially if you want to boast that fair and balanced bullshit that Fox does. Never got that either. It's all crazy. The media is only showing these scared shitless people, and then you're scared shitless, and a lot of people are scared of this, and it's another thing to be afraid of in an already very scary world. The swine flu is just madness. It doesn't add up statistically. It doesn't add up in any single perspective. I don't know how you feel about it. You can just leave some thoughts in the comments section. Tell me how you think. Tell me how you feel about it. Do you feel like the media is fear-mongering? Do you feel like this is the next major threat to the human race? I personally don't. But those are the BioThoughts. Later.